Forget the internet lists. Forget the tired tropes of the lone wolf who just likes quiet coffee shops. The real Sigma male isn't defined by a preference for solitude or a disdain for small talk. Those are merely surface symptoms. He is defined by a fundamental neurological operating system that processes reality differently. It's a quiet, persistent architecture of the mind that was never designed for the mainstream world. If you've ever felt like a permanent foreigner, observing a society that seems to run on rules you never received the manual for, you're not broken. You might simply be recognizing the blueprint. Let's talk about the real signs, the ones that happen in the quiet, behind the scenes, long before any cool, silent stereotype ever manifests. 1. You process social interaction as a high cognitive load task, not a reflex. For most, conversation is a stream. It flows. Instinct, emotion, and social reflex guide it. For you, it's often an act of high-stakes translation. You are simultaneously listening to the words, analyzing the subtext, decoding the speaker's true intent, and formulating a response that is both accurate and strategically efficient. This isn't social anxiety, it's social calculus. It's why you can leave a seemingly pleasant gathering feeling not just tired, but mentally depleted, as if you've been speaking a second language for hours. Your brain isn't wired for the low-friction, high-noise exchange of typical social banter. It seeks signal in the noise, meaning in the ritual, and truth in the performance. This constant processing creates a natural gravitation towards silence, not because you have nothing to say, but because most interactions aren't worth the immense cognitive tax required to engage authentically. 2. Your loyalty is absolute, but your presence is conditional, and you see no contradiction. This is the paradox that confuses everyone else. For the rare individuals you deem worthy, your loyalty is unwavering, quiet, and non-negotiable. You will move mountains without being asked. However, that loyalty is never a chain. It is a conscious, daily choice you make, and it is contingent upon one unspoken, non-negotiable principle: the mutual respect of absolute sovereignty. The moment a relationship, friend, partner, family, becomes coercive, manipulative, or attempts to erode your autonomy, you can withdraw your presence with a calm, surgical finality that others perceive as shockingly cold. There is no drama, no grand finale, no tearful explanation. You simply recalculate. The person is silently moved from the inner circle ledger to the external contact ledger in your mind, and your behavior adjusts with detached precision. You don't hate them. You've just closed a file. This ability stems not from cruelty, but from a core understanding that your peace and self-ownership are the foundation upon which all else is built. A crack in that foundation necessitates a total rebuild, and you will not live in a compromised structure. 3. You acquire mastery in silent mode, and the achievement itself is often an afterthought. While others learn for certificates, applause, or social proof, you learn for the sheer, private geometry of the thing itself. You might spend 2 years mastering a language, a craft, a complex body of knowledge, or a physical discipline without a single person in your life having any clue. The process is the purpose. The struggle is the sacred part. The late nights, the failed attempts, the incremental breakthroughs. This is the private journey that fuels you. The eventual mastery, the thing the world would recognize as an achievement, is often the least interesting part to you. It's merely the logical endpoint of a private obsession. When you do reveal a skill, it arrives fully formed, surprising others because they never witnessed the labor. This is because the labor wasn't for them. It was a dialogue between you and your own potential. 4. You possess a metaphysical immune system that rejects certain cultural viruses. Beyond simple nonconformity, you have an intuitive, almost physiological rejection mechanism for societal narratives, collective emotions, and trendy ideologies. You don't just disagree with a popular sentiment. You feel a deep, intellectual, and sometimes physical dissonance, a sense that you are being presented with a counterfeit reality. This immune system automatically filters out groupthink, emotional manipulation dressed as wisdom, and performative outrage. You cannot force yourself to go along to get along because it would violate your internal integrity at a fundamental level. This often makes you seem alien or out of step, but in truth, you are not rejecting society. You are simply not infected by its latest strain of thought virus. Your mind is a clean room, and most of what passes for public discourse fails the decontamination threshold. 5. You view your own life story with the detachment of a biographer. Most people are fused to their personal narrative. They are the heroes and victims of their own epic. You observe your own life with a quiet, third-person objectivity. Past traumas are analyzed as formative data sets, not nursed as open wounds. Successes are logged as verified experiments, not worn as crowns. This isn't a lack of feeling, it is a superior form of cognitive processing. You understand that you are not your story, you are the consciousness experiencing the story. This detachment is your greatest source of resilience. It allows you to walk away from identities, careers, and relationships that no longer serve you because you were never fully attached to them in the first place. You were merely experiencing them. When the chapter ends, you close the book and begin the next. No fanfare, no funeral, just a quiet turn of the page. 6. People confide their deepest truths to you, unprompted, and you're never sure why. Despite your reserved nature, people have a compulsive urge to tell you their secrets, shames, and dreams. This happens because your silence is not judged as emptiness, but as stable, neutral ground. You don't radiate the frantic energy of someone waiting to share their own story or give unsolicited advice, and you simply receive. In your presence, people feel the unusual safety of a non-judgmental vault. They sense that their vulnerability won't be taken as social currency or met with overwhelming performative emotion. You offer the rarest gift, anchored, silent attention, and in that space, their truth unspools naturally, often startling them as much as it quietly informs you. 7. Your decisions are the final, visible step of a long, internal logic cascade. When you make a major life change, quitting a job, leaving a city, ending a relationship, it can seem abrupt, reckless, or emotional to outsiders. What they don't see is the invisible process. For weeks, months, or even years, you have been running silent diagnostics, collecting data points, observing misalignments between your values and your reality, testing hypothetical exits. The decision is finalized in the quiet chambers of your mind long before any action is taken. The announcement is not the beginning of a dilemma, it is the administrative notification of a verdict already reached. You find it pointless to explain the why in a linear way because your reasoning is a complex web of 1,000 subtle observations, a private calculus that would take a novel to articulate. If these signs don't just resonate but feel like reading the unspoken manual to your own mind, then the Sigma label isn't something you adopt. It's a lens that finally brings your innate and often isolating psychology into clear focus. You are not failing at a game you never wanted to play. You are built for a different, more deliberate, and more sovereign game entirely. One where the only score that matters is the integrity of your own peace. To understand the specific, non-negotiable boundaries this mindset creates in daily life, watch our essential video. It is the practical manifesto of the principles we've just described.